So where do we want to start?
I don't know. I mean, just
Oh, by the way, we're always on Facebook.
gotcha. Good morning, Facebook. No, just you go with.
Okay.
I'm in it, for change. It's time. Insurance, like you said on your program a couple of minutes ago. Insurance is on the top of everybody's mind. I think it's the number one issue.
I mean, anything draining money out of my pocket is
that's
going
what it
to.
is. I mean, this is insurance is one of those things that you got to pay it, but I mean, when it goes up 10%, you can't go make 10% more money overnight. But you're expected to pay when you get that renewal. So it's on the top of everybody's mind.
We're also going to talk.
That's the
Whoa,
issue.
I think your foot hit it.
There you go. That's the main issue.
All right. So, kill the mics for just a second. $716 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Still looking at a feels like temperature in the 30s as we get this this cold snap has come through. 41 degrees overall, feels like 36. You're going to rinse repeat this for tomorrow as well. By Friday morning, we'll be a little bit warmer as we move towards the weekend. All right, it is time to start talking about next year's insurance commissioner's race. Last time around, Tim Temple threw his hat in the ring and has decided and raised so many very good questions along the way. He's decided to get back in it again and joins me right now. Tim, welcome back, man. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. Good to see you.
Glad to have you on again. And first of all, I believe I expressed this to you during the last time you ran. I appreciate anybody who throws their hat in the ring, especially for something where insurance commissioner, you're going to catch a lot more hate than love. Like there's just always, it's a public servant's position. So thank you for once again getting back in this.
Well, thank you for that. And look, I'm excited to do it. It's an office. It's not a feel good office, right? I mean, you go in there to work hard and make an impact on people's lives, and that's what I intend to do.
And I mean, I'm sure the current commissioner can attest to this as well. It's just it's like being an NFL referee. It's better if nobody knows who you are than if you're called out on a regular basis. And where we're at right now, it feels like we're paying a lot more attention to insurance than we ever have.
Well, look, we're in a crisis. I mean, and we're in a crisis that, in my opinion, is in 17 years in the making. Currently, we're the highest auto insurance rates in the country. We've been trending that way for over a decade, and we're here. We're number one, unfortunately. We're all experiencing an implosion of the homeowners market right now. I mean, we've had 11 companies go insolvent. We've had, I don't even know what the number is. Testimony yesterday, a man said, a list as long as his arm of companies that are either non-renewing or pushing rate increases or just saying we're done, we're out. And we're all being impacted by that every single day. So we've got to address that. And we still have a commercial trucking, commercial auto crisis. Nothing's been done to address that. And I'm in this because we need change. The current philosophy of just dust off a 15-year-old program and hope that helps the homeowners market.
You're talking about Citizens?
I'm talking about the insurance incentive program that's being pushed right now. I mean, that was tried back in 2006, 7, 8, marginally successful. We haven't addressed the shortcomings of that program, and the proposal is let's just try it again and see what happens. That's not acceptable. We can't continue doing the same old thing expecting a different outcome.
We're going to get into your resume in a little bit. For those that were unfamiliar with your first run, for those that are just getting to know you, we'll do that in a little bit, but I'd be burying the lead if we didn't dive in with homeowners insurance. 2020, Louisiana was hit by, 50, 60 storms. No, it was like 2 or 3. Really, really, like Cat 4 was Laura, a number of Cat 2s. I believe a Cat 3 was in there as well. I think Zeta was a Cat. Anyway, we're just clobbered in 2020. 2021, we have Hurricane Ida. Just rip right up through Fourchon and cover most of the state. our insurance rates go up because storms hit us. Now, this year, our insurance rates are going to go up again because a storm hit Florida. I have trouble making that make sense. It's about the reinsurance, but is there any way we can go through a season without our rates going up?
Look, I mean, you're right. Louisiana was hit by 4 storms in effectively a 12-month period, starting with Laura, Zeta, Delta, Ida. The entire South Louisiana was impacted up into Central Louisiana. Reinsurance is certainly a factor in that, but you have to look at what's driving that right now today. Again, we've had 11 companies that have gone insolvent. They're no longer writing. Again, we've had companies that are leaving. So that is lowering competition. You don't have as many choices. I mean, we see right now Louisiana Citizens, our market of last resort. I think the testimony I saw yesterday, there's about 130,000 policies in there. Those are folks that are having to buy their homeowners insurance in a program that's legislatively mandated to be 10% higher than the regional average. So they're already paying astronomical rates.
Okay, but there's good reason for them to have to be higher, because if they have to stay higher, that encourages the other companies not to pack up and leave.
Well, it does, but what are we doing? What are we doing to address the issue of competition? I mean, why did companies leave? We got to look at that. Yeah, we have storms. Everybody has storms, and guess what? Last I checked, we can't make Louisiana not have hurricanes.
Right.
So what can we impact? We need to look at the competitive nature of Louisiana, or regulatory wise. What can we do on a regulatory basis to encourage companies to come in? Statutorily, we need to look at what laws can we change. And I think the legislature last year, they tackled. They've shown that they have the fortitude and the political willpower to go and tackle some tough issues and try and address the insurance crisis we're having. We need to continue those efforts, but we need to continue it by looking at other things other than, like I said, this insurance incentive program. There's a lot of good things came out of testimony yesterday. What can we do rating wise? How we allow insurance companies to change their rates. That's a big topic. How we allow companies to change their policies. There's a lot of things that were being discussed yesterday, and I didn't see it being well received by the department. It was kind of like, we're just going to continue on the path that we've done forever, and eventually it will change.
How would you approach it differently?
I would engage the stakeholders. Well, first and foremost, I would enforce the rules that we have currently on the books. We've had 11 companies, I said, go insolvent. The current leadership admitted yesterday in testimony that he failed to maintain, to follow and ensure the financial solvency of these companies. Just follow the rules that we have first and foremost. The department's obligated to make sure companies have the financial resources to pay claims, to meet their obligations. That didn't happen. Let's enforce the rules we have and follow them. But secondly, let's be open-minded. Let's, like I said, throw it all on the table and say, what can we do differently? What can we do? What are we not doing today to attract companies to come into Louisiana? Insurance companies, they get to deploy their capital where they want by choice. It's business. They don't have to come into Louisiana.
And that's a big, so that should not be overlooked. And that's actually a mark in favor of any insurance commissioner. But it's tough to be the strong guy. It's tough to strong arm somebody. It's tough to be the enforcer when they could just pack up and leave.
Which is why you need to work with them. Find out what they need to see happen in Louisiana to encourage them to come to Louisiana.
Yeah.
The incentive program by giving money to insurance companies, again, we tried that. It was marginally successful. I mean, it was testimony yesterday. It took 10 years to achieve its goal of depopulating citizens. We can't wait 10 years for that.
Yeah.
We need to start, again, looking at things that are going to, working with stakeholders. Like I said, work with the legislature. They've shown that they want to make changes to the law. That may be adding laws. It may be repealing some existing laws. But we need to engage stakeholders. We need to engage policyholders. We need to engage the insurance companies to say, what can we do? We know you can go right in Texas. We know you can go right in Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. What is it going to take for you to want to come and write policies in Louisiana?
Can we look to Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, or Florida as comps, as a place to get ideas? Because I'm going to go back to this. When it comes to hurricanes, the game seems to be different in our state than it is in other places.
But look, the legislature did this past session. I'm trying to think. It's the Fortify Home program. Alabama has did this, and they're leading. They're kind of the lead dog on this, if you will. And it's a program effectively where you create a grant program to give money to insureds that are in high-risk areas to fortify their homes, to strengthen their homes so that the roofs withstand higher winds.
Okay.
I think that's a great program. I would do it a little differently,
I
though.
believe we've got something coming here with the roofs. I don't know about the rest of the home.
The
but with new roofs.
legislature passed a law to create the program. It hasn't been funded yet. You know, my idea, I wouldn't give money to the insurance companies to have them come in. I would allocate that money to the Fortify Home program and target homes that are currently in Citizens, because by doing that, you've strengthened the home, you've made it more likely to be insured, more attractive to be insured.
Right.
So standard lines insurance companies are going to want to write that, and it's going to pull those companies out of Citizens, which is what we want as well, which saves those, the folks in Citizens money. So I don't say it's a simple answer, but it's one that's it's a little bit outside the box of let's just do the same old thing again.
Let's talk about Citizens for a minute, because there's been efforts to just get it gone. I don't know that we're ever going to get there. But the reason Citizens was born, it was born out of necessity originally.
It is the Louisiana market of last resort. Exactly. It is that safety net that when you can't purchase insurance from any other standard lines company,
right?
You can buy insurance there. It's not going to be it's very unaffordable by design. But it's the safety net, if you will.
And it becomes its own catch-22, because you're paying more for the insurance, which is going to drain your account even more. But at the same time, though, you're in a spot where is it possible to say that some places just aren't viable here?
Well, I don't know that I'm ready to say that, because I mean, look, there's a lot of coastal exposure all along the U.S.
Yeah.
So I think that there is a way to make it work. I think that we just need to peel back the layers of the onion a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's look and see what in Citizens works well and what doesn't, and let's change it. And I think a lot of that needs to be statutory, from my understanding, statutorily. But again, the legislature's willing to tackle some of these things. But we have to look and see what's not working. We have to admit, it's not working as well as it could.
No, and yes, 100% it's not working as well as it could, or else we wouldn't be talking about it, because it wouldn't be draining our bank accounts. Also draining our bank accounts, and I know I've used this line 1,000 times. You ask anybody that moves to Louisiana from a different state, what is the biggest impact? And they'll tell you in this order: humidity and car insurance.
And I'd say car insurance, then humidity.
That's just because it's cold out today, Tim.
That's right. But no, you're right. And looking at this from an economic development standpoint.
Yes.
Someone moves into Louisiana, they take a pay cut.
They do.
Right? I was just on a program 2 days ago, and a lady was telling me that when she moved from Texas to Louisiana, her car insurance doubled, and her homeowner's insurance tripled. And we're wanting, we do everything we can to attract businesses to come to Louisiana.
Yes.
But then have the roadblock put in front of them. And, I know you said you've got Garrett Graves coming on next, and he's mentioned, his 5 issues that businesses look at when coming to Louisiana.
Yeah.
You got taxes and schools, but insurance is one of them. And businesses, you're in Texas and your company says, hey, we want to transfer you to Baton Rouge to go work at a refinery over there. Oh, and by the way, your insurance on your homeowners is going to triple and your auto is going to double. I mean, they're not going to pay you more money to offset that. So we have to acknowledge that's a headwind that we have from an economic development standpoint.
Yeah.
Which is all the more important why we need to work constantly, every session, every day, to make Louisiana attractive, to bring companies here, because that's what's going to lower insurance rates.
So when it comes to lowering car insurance rates, and we're going to have to move on, because I do want to get to who you are for those that don't know you. But there are so many different factors that go into this. There are so many different pieces to this puzzle, and we could focus on one at a time to the detriment of all the others. But it feels like, a couple of years ago, we put a lot of effort into tort reform, which was one piece of the puzzle. But if you leave the rest of the puzzle undone, you've gotten nowhere.
Well, and what you're pointing out is the complexity of insurance.
Yeah.
It is very complex. And I wish there was a way to just make it simple, but there's not. Auto insurance is definitely out of control. I mean, like I said, we're number 1 in the country, and we've been steadily moving there over the last 10, 15 years. Tort reform was a good effort. I mean, we made some inroads there, and again, I appreciate the legislature's willingness to tackle that, because it is tough. We need to look at, why are we number 1? I just saw an article this morning in the paper that was ranking Louisiana roads in the Advocate, and I think it said we're like 15, somewhere like 15th worst roads. I would have bet you $1 that we were number 1 is worst roads. So that's a contributing factor, but obviously it's not the factor. So let's look at. I mean, is it the abuse of the legal system? I mean, we have more claims. I've been told, and I believe it, that we have more claims than any other state when it comes to auto insurance. What is driving that? We've got to have some serious conversations and not blue ribbon panels, where everybody looks pretty. We need to tackle these tough questions and get answers.
60 seconds left, so give me the 30-second elevator pitch on who you are and what you're standing for in running for insurance commissioner.
Well, Brian, what I want your listeners to I guess take away from this is that my position is that we need change, obviously, in the Department of Insurance with the Office of Commissioner. It's serious. It's a crisis. And we don't need just the same old professional political theatrics that have been taking place forever. We need a professional insurance person. I grew up in this industry. I think I've told your listeners before, I've worn many hats: insurance agents, reinsurance broker, claims, cat claims, third-party, commercial trucking, MGA. I've got experience and relationships. That's what I'm going to bring to the office.
All right, this is the first of many conversations. We've got a long way to go till next year's election, so we're going to pause it right there. Tim Temple, thank you so much for the time. Congressman Graves is next. Sorry, we just ran out of time. Dude, that is freaking... Oh!
Yeah.
I'm getting too many texts during the segment from friends that I have in the insurance business. Tommy Mann just texted me. He's one of... Oh. Tommy just says, boom, thanks.
Boom.
Like,
but it's and I appreciate your time. It's complex. I mean,
no, it is.
You start pulling on this thread, and this pants leg starts shortening, and you pull on this one, and this. I mean, it's. But you got to start. You got to pull them all of them. You can't just, like you said, you can't just whack a mole and think you've won the game.
Right.
So. Well, I'd love to be on as much. I mean, like I said, it's going to take a long time. Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Tim.
Good to see you again. All right, y'all have a good day.
You too.